Welcome, everyone, to your next favorite podcast. This is DJ with his co-host.
Bunnyshade.
And today we're going to talk about E3. I guess a good place for us to start is, what was your least favorite conference?
I don't want to come off super opinionated because I don't have anything specifically against Xbox, but I thought that was, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, there wasn't, okay, so I guess I'm kind of lumping Xbox with Bethesda because Microsoft owns it now.
Yeah, but they did it together, so you can. It's
Yeah,
fair.
okay. I would definitely say the next one would be Square, only because, they didn't talk about anything I was hoping they would. They did show a little bit of, Final Fantasy 16, but they had a lot of mobile stuff in there.
I actually thought Square Enix lost this one.
Yeah. Rethinking about it, I agree.
Here's my thing, right? The only thing they had going for them was Matt Mercer, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That's pretty true.
The only good game they announced was Life is Strange, in my opinion, and that might just be because I'm not a huge Final Fantasy person.
Mm-hmm. That's understandable. But
yeah,
Life is Strange.
I feel like that's all they had.
Well, Life is Strange was a really good announcement. And see, that's also going for Nintendo, so...
Yeah.
So that was a nice little bonus. But yeah, no, I am excited about the new one, especially. I think it's going to be really good. And I never finished the first one, but I know it's really good, though.
I'm in the same boat, and I think them putting it on the Switch will be good for a lot of people, because the whole point of the Switch was to take your games everywhere with you.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's a good game to put on.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, you mentioned Square Enix did a lot of mobile stuff, and I feel like a lot of that is because they're trying to get you to microtransaction games.
I agree. I didn't think of that at first, but now that you've mentioned it, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. No, you go ahead.
I only say that because, with Square Enix, I know with the Final Fantasy VII remake, they also did episodic adventures, from what I understand. And I feel like they're just trying to make as much cash as they can, and I've kind of been disappointed in a lot of companies for being so money hungry.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I get that every company, the bottom line is you do have to make money to provide a good product.
Oh, of course.
And I definitely feel like the people who actually slave away making Final Fantasy, I have no doubts that they love what they do and they're putting their heart into it. But yeah, overall as a company, I was really disappointed with that. Also, that kind of ties into what I was going to talk about, I wanted to mention, but the whole Yuffie DLC thing being only for PS5, I think is a really bad move.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I was like, because a lot of people can't get a PS5 right now, and you have a lot of younger generation, like my brother, he just is turning 18 in July. He saved forever to get his PS4, and he's only had it for 2 years. So, why would he want to spend to get a PS5? But he's so obsessed with Final Fantasy VII, so I'm just like, ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, that stings a lot.
Yeah, it's not even PS4. I mean, it's still got quite a few years left in it.
Mm-hmm. My thing, I think, with Square Enix, and it might just be me, but I feel like after you've made 16 of the same games, core games, I should say, because I know there's probably 32 in total with their mobile crap and their side stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to let a game die, man.
Yeah, no, I am definitely a Final Fantasy fan, but no, I agree. If anything, stop beating that horse every year and just branch out. Square, You know, when Square, because it used to be just Square and then it became Square Enix. When they merged, they brought a ton of titles under their umbrella. There is so much more that they could be, either remastering or straight up just making new sequels to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty certain they own, Chrono Trigger for one of them. That's a cult hit. Anyone would be happy to pay $70 for a new one, especially. But it's just
No, I feel like I want more new IPs, like new titles. And I feel like we kind of got that, but not from the companies we want it from.
Yeah. No, I agree, definitely. If anyone was a sleeper hit, it's the indie developers this year. They're the ones that are bringing a lot of unique and original ideas, to the table. And yeah, like I said, I'll admit, I am a fangirl for Final Fantasy, but I agree, I was not that pleased with how they handled the 7 remake.
Yeah.
And I think it was a bit ambitious for them. And then now all of the mobile stuff coming, I'm just like, I don't even know how excited I am for 16, to be honest. I'm just like, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Now, you mentioned that you didn't like Xbox and Bethesda either, so I'm going to go there because I have a couple of games and just extras that I'm excited for that I have notes for.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So they did the Warner Brothers Back for Blood stuff. I found that this E3 had a lot of the same theme going for it, and I think part of the reasoning behind that is because of next-gen consoles just being released last year.
Yeah.
They're trying to give us the zombies apocalyptic survival style games.
Yeah.
For the new consoles, which I'm okay with, but I'm also like, we have so many of those games. The cool thing about Back for Blood is it's made by the same people of Left 4 Dead 2. So it's like a Left 4 Dead 3 that everybody's been wanting.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair. I was excited when I saw that. I do think that looks really good. And I think from the bit that we saw, because I know there's some campaign gameplay and stuff. I didn't get to watch all of it, but from the bit that I did see of it, though, it definitely has that Left 4 Dead feel. And I agree with you. There's a little bit too much when it comes to zombie apocalyptic stuff out there, but I am excited for that, though, specifically for the mechanics, and I think the combat looks good too.
Oh yeah, I think all of the apocalyptic games look good. They're always good. There's just so many of them, you know.
Yeah, I would like to see companies try to do more well, I love action games as much as the rest, but just more Life is Strange or Telltale stuff, or just a little bit more like you said, unique IPs coming to the table. But as far as apocalyptic stuff goes, yeah, I mean, they're always a good romp, they're always fun, and that one does look really fun.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you actually had any games from Xbox. If you did, you didn't have much. But I'm also very excited for the Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life.
Yes. Okay, actually, yeah. Okay, I do take it back. Square was definitely the loser now that you're reminding me about that one, too, because I forgot to put that on my notes for my highlights. But yeah, no, I'm really, really excited to go back to Sea of Thieves to play that.
And here's our problem as a group, and I've been thinking about this. We will never... it will be a fight and a half to go back to Sea of Thieves with our group of 6.
I know.
Because Monkey and Whale both find a new game every single weekend.
I know. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. Sometimes I get flighty, too, because I, ooh, shiny, I want to try it. But no, I get you. I literally, 2 months ago was oh, hey, when we finish, blah, 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 let's do some Sea of Thieves. And so Money reinstalled. But then they got into Red Dead.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we could have plans. It's just going to take them a while to get to them.
Well, I'm going to stay on top of them, though. Be like, look, I'll play this for like a month, but then I want to do some Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. I definitely want to play some Captain Jack Sparrow Sea of Thieves.
Yes.
The whole reason I got it was to play with you guys, and I've only played it once with another friend since.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So.
But I did always wish, that was one thing about Sea of Thieves, I did always wish that they would have, because they have the really big ships, I was hoping they would have it where you could play with like 8 friends, you included, but you could either have one big slow ass ship. I can cuss, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
One big slow ass ship, or like you both have to have like 2 little things, or like you can do like a handicap since you have so many people. But I always thought that would be like one nice thing I wish they added was just, when you have the really big ship, have like, or not even 8, 6 people. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to something we mentioned. Like, there's not enough games that are for 6 people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've talked about this, and it's hard for our friend group to all get together and play a game because of that.
Yeah, like I love all of you, and so I'm not complaining in any way saying this, but I definitely do feel the pull sometimes, because like right now I do want to play co-op with Alma, but I have to go through Dragon Quest, and then Charlie gifted me the WoW subscription, and he has been asking me to play it for like 2 years, but then Alma's not gonna play it anymore, so it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I have 3 more games from Microsoft and Bethesda that I was really excited for.
Okay.
And one of them is that kind of an indie game. It's called 12 Minutes. I'm not sure if you paid much attention to it.
I did actually think that looked good. I'm confused.
Yes.
I don't think I caught all of it, though, because I was like, wait, what is this?
So this trailer, they announced it in 2019, I believe, and it hasn't come out yet to my knowledge, but it had a more in-depth look to the trailer in 2019.
Oh, okay. I need to watch the older one then, I think.
But essentially, like, from what I can tell, they say you're stuck in a 12-minute loop, and essentially what happens in that 12 minutes is someone breaks into your house, you have an argument with your wife or something, your wife ends up getting killed, and then you also end up getting killed until you can break the cycle or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it.
Yeah, see, another one, though, because that's a smaller, if I remember correctly, that's like Annapurna Interactive, I think it is, but that's a smaller team again, bringing something unique and original. It definitely looks really fun.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure this isn't on your list, and it shocks me that it's not on your list.
I may have just accidentally, I may have forgot to put it on it. What is it?
Ayuden Chronicle.
Oh.
This was the very upgraded, stunning, visually looking Octopath Traveler game.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I saw that. Now I have to look it up. Ayuden Chronicle? I don't know how
Chronicle.
I missed
It looked stunning. I was like, holy. And it plays the same as Octopath Traveler, but it looks great.
Oh yeah, no, that is sexy as heck. Oh, I'm just looking at screenshots. Yes, I love that depth of feel. I love that. Gaming started with 2D. You had your 16 pixels, 32, blah blah. Got better, and then it was all about the 3D and everything being super realistic. I love that we're now like, wait, what if we took pixel art but with like ray tracing lighting? I'm just like, yes, yeah. I live for this. This is my new thing. I want more. So yeah, no, that looks amazing.
I believe there were a couple games like that announced, but this one definitely caught my eye.
There were a
lot for the art.
There were a couple other ones. One of them on my list kind of looked like that, just not as pixelated, but it was what was it? Astaria Ascending or whatever. So yeah, there were some other 2D ones, but this one looks really good though. This Chronicle one.
It's gonna be $80 just like Octopath Traveler, I'm imagining, but it looks great.
Our poor wallets.
Yep. And then the other thing, which I know you kind of watched recaps, and so you might have missed this in particular. It was at the very end of Microsoft's thing. I've been in the market for a mini fridge. I don't know about you, but Xbox announced an Xbox Series X mini fridge that is in the shape of their Xbox Series X.
You're pulling my paw here, right?
No, it comes out in the holiday season. But they pretty much memed us without memeing us. Like, they're actually going to release it. And it's funny, I think it's due to popular demand, because I've seen a lot of content creators when they did this thing with Dwayne The Rock Johnson's energy drink company. Some of their YouTube content creators that they send stuff to frequently got this mini fridge along with the energy drinks. And I think a lot of people saw them and was like, we would buy that. We would pay for that. And they're like, this is a marketing ploy right here. So I've been the downside is it only holds like cans, like tall cans.
Yeah, like tall cans. Yeah, I can only imagine it doesn't hold much. But I mean, for the right price, I would be tempted just for the novelty of it. Seriously, that's awesome. I mean, hey, you fill it up with your monsters. Come on.
Yeah. And from what I understand, they're using the same technology they use to cool their Xboxes. Really? In the mini fridge.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually really cool. And you're right. I totally didn't see that. Because the first day, I'll admit to everyone listening, I didn't get to watch Xbox Live because I had like personal things going on that had already been planned for that day. So as soon as I got home, I started watching the recaps. But like no one had that in their videos. What the heckin'?
It was right at the end. Like a lot of people probably clicked off and was like already done. Yeah. They had like their end screen already, and then they showed it after their end screen, and then they went back to the end screen.
Fucking meme lords. Oh my god.
I was like, okay, we just got memed, and then they're like, this is real. And I'm like, oh my god, this is brilliant.
That is amazing. No, I would definitely, for like the right price, I think I would grab one too. That's actually pretty freaking awesome.
For sure. For the right, I think there's no leaked price, but I think they're gonna probably be around the ballpark of like $170, $200.
Okay. Honestly, for what it is, and especially if you're an Xbox fan, that's not bad at all. That's like overtime on a weekend, or you know what I mean?
Pretty
like
much.
it's not that bad.
Yeah. That's all I got for Microsoft, and I mean, we're about 20 minutes in, so okay. If we want to just bullet rush some games that you're interested in but don't really want to talk about.
Yeah, well, I did want to make one honorable mention. I know that it's not like the most amazing online game, but you know, Fallout 76, honestly, at first I boycotted it when it very, very first came out because it had some issues. But, you know, we ended up playing it after it went on sale, and I grabbed it for like $12. And it actually was pretty fun. So I did think it was cool that they're supporting it by adding on like this new content. But I was a little upset because I didn't really see anything or any mentions. There's no rumors going around about like a new Fallout that I'm aware of. No. So I don't know. I wanted something a little, like I wanted something about either Elder Scrolls or like legit Fallout series. So for like 76, it's cool that they're supporting it. But I was like, I could have gone for something else too at the same time.
Yeah. I would have liked a better trailer for like Elder Scrolls 6 or something like that.
Yeah, just show us a little bit of something, you know, don't tease us. God, like so long. Cause like that's been in the works for years. I've known about that forever, and I'm just like, come on, show me the little bit of gameplay, a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, for me, I would just say, like, I thought the Rainbow Six Extraction looked amazing. I had heard about something along that lines. I wasn't really certain, like, what exactly it was going to be. Like, was it going to be a game mode in Rainbow Six or what? So when I watched the trailer and I saw that it's its own thing, I was like, yeah, that looks really awesome. I'm just wondering how many players there's going to be.
From what I can tell, I think it might be a 5-player team.
And honestly,
but it
that's
might
fine.
still be the 6. I'm not sure.
It would be amazing if it was 6. I like the idea. I like the, because you know me, I love aliens. Like, I love that it's aliens. I love how gross and, like, sticky and gooey everything looks. It looks awesome. But then we have all of our favorite, operators. So that was really cool. I'm excited for that. I haven't gotten to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I saw the Siege of Paris, like a DLC, and I was like, oh my god, this looks really good. So if anything, it really did reinforce my decision that I do need to get that sometime this year. So that was exciting.
Yeah, with Assassin's Creed, I kind of stopped after like Syndicate, I think, or like when the PS4 just came out, it was like one of the last games, and I feel like it was because they stopped doing history, and it was more about the assassin. But I've only heard good things about the last 2 games.
Well, that's where I'm at, too. You know, I only ever played, because we only have 22 minutes here, so I was like, we can just kind of talk about several things that I had on my list, because then you can edit down as to whatever length you want. But yeah, going back into Assassin's Creed, I only played the first 3 and beat them, and I had heard that after a while they did become a little bit more just like reskinned versions of the same thing, didn't really focus on the history, because that's what I loved about it was, oh my god, you know, at the time it was amazing graphics. Now it's dated, but like the first 2 especially is like, wow, these look amazing. I love history, so this is great. But yeah, I actually have Assassin's Creed Origin. I've only played about the first 10 hours, but it's really good. And Whale told me that Odyssey is amazing. And then someone else who I know online, they were talking to me about Valhalla, saying that it was amazing too. So I was like, okay, yeah, I think I definitely need to get Valhalla. I think they've kind of like refound their sweet spot, so to say.
I think they did something right, and this is kind of in correlation with what we were saying about like Final Fantasy. Is I think they've kind of stopped beating their dead horse for a minute.
Yeah.
And they're going to just focus on a game.
Yeah.
As opposed to pushing out a game.
Exactly. Just focus on it. You know, get a team together that actually loves what they're working on. Don't just pull people from all kinds of different projects and make them slap it together in a time frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
But I was kind of a weird game that I don't know why I was so excited for it, but actually Riders Republic.
See, I was like, no, I'm not gonna even look at this.
The only thing I wanted to mention was, for me, I thought it was really cool how they were adding, because I know there's a lot of people out there who like racer and competitive games, kind of like in that vein. I thought it was kind of cool that it was almost like an Olympic type game, because it had so many different things in it. And I have to say, when I was watching the trailer and you're the bicycle and you're going down that dirt hill, I actually felt a little like, oh my god, because like it just looked really good. But yeah, I mean, I probably won't buy that, but I'll admit that looks good though, and the graphics
it did
were
look
nice.
good. I'll admit that. It looked good. I will not play it because it's not my kind of game.
Mine either. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it did look good, and I mean, people are probably a little excited about
like it. Well, it's like, you know, Also not my kind of game, but I did play one like way back when I first got an E-machine when I was 12. But Tony Hawk, I'm sure you saw that it's getting like a remaster of like the first 2 games or something. So again, not my thing, but I'm pretty certain that there's plenty of Tony Hawk fans out there who are gonna think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I don't know how to feel about this, because I feel like whenever a game is made off of a popular movie, it's usually not good. But because they're also drawing from the comics, the new Guardians of the Galaxy game actually looked kind of cool.
So I noticed it was on your list, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to share my opinion.
Go for it.
So, yes, it looks good. I will not deny that. And it looks like it plays good. From what they showed us for gameplay, it doesn't look like it's smooth just yet, but they still have like
definitely
4 or 5
not
months.
smooth. Yeah.
For a Guardians of the Galaxy thing, to be honest, I couldn't finish the first movie, and I haven't even bothered with the second movie.
Well, that's
and
fine.
It's just not my thing, and I think I'm not, like, as much as I love talking about like space advancement and stuff, I don't like those kind of movies, and I think just like spaceship movies aren't my type of thing. And I think that I won't like the game for that reason. However, I think it's cool that it's kind of your butterfly effect. Your decisions affect the rest of the game.
Yeah, and
I think
that's
they did
really
that right.
that's really where it did pique my interest, and total respect to you for what you said, because I get it, you know. Even if you're someone who likes space exploration and stuff, like, Guardians of the Galaxy definitely has its roots in the comics, that's where it comes from, but it can be a little goofy, and it doesn't really take, I would argue, it doesn't always take science at, you know, into hand. So I get that, no worries. And for Monkey, he was turned off because it doesn't look like the actors. But for me, you know, having read a couple of the comics when I was younger, I just really liked, like you said, I like their approach to it, because again, instead of just being a really bad game thrown together to make some money off of, you know, new people coming to the movie series, it has more of a look of the comic characters, and I liked how they were taking into effect your repercussions for your decisions, and they just felt more like a real RPG. And the combat seemed kind of interesting, how you can actually control and tell your like companions what you want them to do. So that was really all it was that piqued my interest. I just put it on there to mention it, kind of do like an honorable mention, because it does look interesting. Doesn't look like it's running at 60 frames, but
no, I can agree with that.
But I am interested in the premise of the combat and how you can play with your companions. That's a cool idea.
I think they'll sell a lot more because it's on the Switch and you'll be able to take it with you.
Yeah, definitely.
And like I said, I think that's like one of the biggest marketing things for Switch games is like you can take it anywhere with you. But speaking of the butterfly effect in games, I saw this very last minute, like about an hour, 2 hours ago. It's a game called The Dark Pictures House of Ashes.
What the heckin'?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's a Bandai game.
Really?
A Bandai Namco game.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a horror game. And it's exactly like Until Dawn, except you have guns.
Oh.
From what I've seen.
Oh, wow, that could be cool, because I love Until Dawn, and I typically love a lot of what Bandai does. I don't think they do that much anymore. Well, I feel like they could be busier. so yeah,
they definitely could be.
That sounds really interesting. I'll have to look at that so I can kind of tell you what my opinion is next time we chat. But yeah, that sounds good.
It looked good. It piqued my interest, and I was like, horror game, I'm down.
Yeah. Well, speaking of horror games, that falls into one of my... Okay, so... I don't know if you played much of them, because they were on Xbox, PS2... I'm a fan, but I don't remember what the last one was on. I think it may have just been Xbox PS2. Not certain. But Fatal freaking Frame. Oh my god. And the fact that it's on the Nintendo Switch and I can literally fucking hold my Switch up like a camera. Ah! I'm dying. I am dying. Amazing
So I did see
horror series.
So I did kind of get excited because I thought it was going to be more like Parasite Eve. It looked like a Parasite Eve game to me at first.
It
with
did,
like
yeah.
really good graphics. And so I got a little bit excited, and then I realized you're taking pictures of ghosts, and I was a little less excited, and I was like,
It definitely, yeah, for like as a Western audience, I can see where sometimes Japanese culture doesn't translate over to us when it comes to horror stuff, but I am a big fan of it simply because when I was younger, I played the original ones, and so it's more of a nostalgia thing for me. Plus,
yeah, that's fair.
The mechanics of the game, I just think it's so smart to put it on the Switch because, like I said, obviously, you could play it docked, but the idea of holding your Switch up like a camera when you're looking through the screen, that just, like, really tickled me, I'm just gonna say. That made
That's
me,
fair.
like, really excited. Another thing, I don't know how I'm gonna wait for Metroid Dread. I want it now. Please give it to me, Nintendo Senpai.
So it did look good, and I might get it. Mm-hmm. The only reason I say might is because I've never played a Metro game in my life.
Ooh.
And I'm going to get a lot of hate for that from anybody who listens to this. I grew up in a different age, like my...
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about this a little bit about content creation and like where the world's kind of ended up since I was a kid. But my dad always told me to get off the games because it wasn't going to give me a job in the future. And like now you see people making millions of dollars doing stuff in the gaming industry.
Oh, yeah.
Or just even sitting at home playing games in front of a couple thousand viewers or whatever.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I don't know. It's tough because I didn't get to play all the nostalgic games, but Metroid definitely looks good.
It is definitely a fun series. I have no doubts, knowing what you do like and what you don't like, I do think you'd really enjoy it. And honestly, even if you don't get it right away, I think that would be a good one for you to start on because... well, I think they mentioned it actually, but this is like the first major Metroid in a long ass time, like main series Metroid, they're going to be working on. But like the mechanics in this, I don't know if you watched some of the I
didn't watch Treehouse, no.
Okay, well in Treehouse they're talking about how the reason it's called Metroid Dread is if you're moving, the monsters hear you.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It makes me think of Alien Isolation. Obviously not to the same degree, but I thought that was really, really smart to put that in there. It sounds like a really great mechanic. And, the other Metroids, as much as I love them, they are dated at this point. So, I mean, yeah, if you're going to start somewhere, I think this would probably be a great one. I can't imagine them doing this wrong. I mean, I can't imagine them doing it wrong. Of course, I even liked Metroid M, so maybe people would think I'm a little too lenient.
Yeah.
But I think it looks great.
Okay. I'm going to talk about PC Gamer for a bit because I thought they had a couple cool looking games for us. And we'll also do the indie. We'll combine indie and PC Gamer together. But I've never played an Orcs Must Die game ever.
Oh, really?
But I think you, Amma, and I have to play Orcs Must Die 3 together.
Yes. No, I agree. I played some of the first one and I had a ton of fun with it. It was really good. And the fact that this one, well, and it comes out in July, doesn't it? It's like not that far away, I don't think. But the fact that this one, being able to play with you guys, I think that would just bump it up even more. I think that'll be really great.
Oh, yeah. I saw it and I was like, this game looks childish, but it's right up my alley, and I will love it for a good weekend.
I mean, it's definitely not something that I'm certain there are people out there who that's their thing, and, you know, they play it all the time, those kind of games. But for those kind of games, I just like having them to play them when I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There might be things that'll come up that'll be a little bit more exciting for us, but it's definitely a fun social game to play with friends, though. And then we'd always have it. So, yeah, it looks good.
And then there was also this game called Next Space Rebels. I think it was just after some space game. I think it was like Stellaris or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't really get much gameplay of the one before it, but this one's kind of like the YouTuber rocket builder game.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of, and Monkey used to play this a lot, and I did a couple. It was fun to mess around with a little bit, but I didn't play it a ton. But it reminds me a bit of like Kerbal Space Program too.
I've seen people play that. I haven't touched it because it's supposed to be a very brain intense game.
It is, which this looks like that takes that step out of it, but yeah, it definitely kind of had that feel to it.
Interesting. I think it's going to hit an audience that most games don't typically hit, and I think it's going to hit the people who enjoy watching YouTube a lot, or like aspire to be a YouTube content creator, because it pretty much has a rip-off YouTube built into the game.
Yeah,
and
the
you're
Star Tube.
Yeah, and then you make rockets based off of your revenue that you make from your videos, which I thought was kind of cool. It kind of reminded me of a better looking and a more interesting YouTuber life.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. It definitely has the YouTuber life feel to it. I feel like Kerbal, as far as, you know, making space rockets, and then YouTuber life, if they had a baby, it would be this, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And then I actually do want to talk about this. Did you watch much of the indie game?
I didn't get to catch all of it. What were you going to talk about?
Okay, so the only one that really caught my interest, specifically for our group of friends, was Lasernauts or Larsenauts.
Oh, okay, Larsenauts.
The 6v6 uplink game?
Yeah, okay, I did catch some of that, but I think I had missed some of it, and I had meant to go back and watch it today, but I didn't.
So, essentially, it kind of has like an Overwatch character selection thing where each character has its purpose, and you choose your character, and it's a 6v6 pretty much Call of Duty uplink game with kind of the pretty Fortnite graphics.
Yeah. Which, you know me, I've always said I love Fortnite graphics. I want more games that have that kind of look to it. Yeah.
And that's why I think it would be good for us, because it's a 6v6, so all 6 of us can play. And it makes almost half the group happy with it. And it's a shooter.
Yeah.
And it's uplink.
Yeah.
So it's like a sportier game too.
Yeah, it's sportier. It's not straight on shooter. And as long as if Amma dies, she doesn't have to wait for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
She'll like it too, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think that definitely could, from what I had seen of it, and then you reconfirming what I thought. I think that would be really fun for a group of friends, definitely.
And then the last two, I have another Octopath Traveler type looking game. It's called Sacrifier, and I'm pretty sure this is the one where you're like a solo mage or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It was in PC Gamer, and it looked identical to Octopath Traveler.
It did. I did see that one, actually. I think from what I saw, the game, it does look like it's going to be really fun. It's different enough. And like I said, I'm starving for more of those type graphics. So I'm just like, yes, this is cool. But it honestly looks different enough. I don't think it's just like a copy paste clone. It looks good.
No, I don't think so either.
But yeah, it definitely has that Octopath Traveler feel. Same as the Chronicle game you mentioned in the very beginning too.
Yeah. And then the last one before we can like settle down for a real conversation on like specific games is well, actually I have two more. So the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
Yes.
For me, I just like it because like it's in my field.
Yeah.
And I think I would enjoy it like a lot. And then Solstice. It's this one was more of like a Dark Souls looking game.
Yes. So first off, the Ace Attorney. Have you ever played an Ace Attorney game before?
Never in my life.
Okay, I've had a couple on like I think DS. I think it was. They're really fun, and yeah, that whole combo looks like it's gonna be great. I definitely think you would like it too. And Solstice, yeah, that looks really interesting because I do love like Dark Souls, Bloodborne. But at the same time, I would like to see more games, not just copy paste, but bring kind of the same genre and try something new world, new lore, that kind of thing. So yeah, that I did see that as well. That one looks really interesting.
Yeah. So you know what my thing is with Dark Souls games? Like the actual Dark Souls games?
Yeah.
I don't like their combat system.
Yeah, no,
Like
I get that.
I do, but I don't like the buttons they use.
I get that too. I played the very first one and beat it, liked it a lot, but even then I was like, the button, the whole controller scheme is kind of off. And then I played Bloodborne, beat it, loved it. It was pretty good. Dark Souls 3, I started playing, but I didn't finish, mainly because of people trolling me constantly because I was trying to play of Charlie.
Yeah.
But even with that all being said, what I did play of Dark Souls 3, I definitely had the same feeling. I was like, I just wish this was slightly different. I enjoy them, and I like them for their difficulty, because it's one of those things where it's repetition. You just remember what the boss is going to do, so you know when to time your jump. And if you die, it's because you didn't time it right. But, it's just one of those, it's kind of almost cathartic when you play them, because it's like, this is this spot, and I need to dodge this way, and I need to wait for him to spin 3 times, or whatever. But yeah, like, I always felt like the controls kind of took me out of that rhythm sometimes, so that's kind of what had bugged me with them.
Yeah, and that's what I hope. Like, you say you want more of those types of games. I hope that when we get those types of games, I know there's been one that was really popular lately. I don't remember the name of it. But I just want to see, like, I'm a press X on a controller, press X and Y to do your light and heavy attacks kind of person. I don't like the whole bumper and trigger thing.
Yeah, that throws me off too, because I mean, I used to play Tekken, Soul Calibur, all of my old style fighting games I used to play growing up. It was always, X and Y and that kind of stuff. Like, triggers should be for, like, guarding and stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just kind of felt weird. I agree.
Yeah. So those are, like, that's like our bullet rush, even though it took us, like, 30 minutes to get through them all. Let's talk about Ubisoft games for a second. And the two in particular I want to talk about are Rainbow Six Extraction and Avatar is on my list.
Yes. Yeah, I think Avatar was on mine as well. Well, I want your opinion on Avatar first, but then I'll talk to you about what my opinion is.
The last time we had an Avatar game, I don't know if you know this, but was in correlation with the movie. So it came out with pretty much with the movie, and it was on Wii.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about the Wii, you know that there were motion controls involved. And as great of a game as it was, I think if they turn this game into more of an RPG style Avatar game where, like, you get to build your own character, I think they've done it right. And I'll be happy.
Yeah, I agree. I have a birthday right next to Christmas, so the year the Wii came out, I said, Mom, Dad, give me a Wii and I'm golden. So I got a Wii, and Avatar was one of the ones that I had rented back when Blockbuster was a thing.
Rest in peace.
I know, we love you, baby. But yeah, no, the motion controls were really bad on that, and that'll kind of, I'm gonna segue that into Skyward Sword later on. But yeah, no, the motion controls were really bad, and I agree. Looking at it though, with the graphics, that's what I thought too. I was like, look, again, normally games made from movies, meh, but the world is so gorgeous, and the idea behind the avatars is so good that I am excited. I'm optimistically hoping that it will be more of an RPG aspect, and I want to be able to tame my mounts. I want to go out and like tame these things, and I want to ride them around, and I want a lot of the exploration because, like I said, I love the world, and I want to like go out there and be part of it and explore it. I think that would be great. That's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I agree. The main thing I think I want is just stats on my character that I can upgrade and like some add my own personality to my avatar, you know?
Yeah, I definitely think there's gonna have to be your own characters because that's just a must nowadays with these kind of games. Unless it's Spider-Man off of the movies. Obviously, you're playing Spider-Man. But even then, they still let you customize him in ways to still make it feel like you're Spider-Man. So that's what I mean. Like, they're going to have to definitely bring that to the table. But yeah, I would really like the RPG element. I want to be able to build my character the way I want them to be. And I definitely would like the inclusion of a male, female avatar. And then maybe even, decking them out the way you want them to, like look-wise too. That would be icing on the cake for me.
Yep, I agree.
And taming. I want taming.
That
probably wouldn't be there, but can you imagine getting to go out and look for your mounts and stuff? That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it does look like a great game, and considering we haven't had an Avatar game that's been good ever, I'm hoping this one doesn't bust. But if I spend $80 on this game at launch or whenever I get it, and it doesn't ever go on sale, and I don't like it, I'm going to be a little upset. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
So, yeah, that's my opinion on Avatar. But I know we have people who want our opinions on Rainbow Six Extraction, and we've briefly gone over it.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself, sorry.
No, it's okay. Are you going to get it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Now I didn't catch when it's coming out, but I'm definitely going to get it. I obviously may not be able to get it like the week of, but it's a must-have.
I agree. I think here's the thing. So my dad, going back to my father and my childhood and my youth, my dad pretty much grew me up on Tom Clancy games, and the original Tom Clancy game that kind of kick-started them all was Splinter Cell.
Yes.
And they've done really good maintaining the Splinter Cell series until their last Splinter Cell game, I thought. Mm-hmm. I thought Blacklist, or whatever it was called, was terrible.
I think it was Blacklist, yeah. I did not enjoy that. The last one I enjoyed was the Double Agent, which I think was the one right before that, actually. But yeah, no, I agree.
So my dad being a Tom Clancy guy and coming out of, he was a medic in the Gulf War, which was in Korea. I actually think that's the one MASH is based around. Mm-hmm. But since he has that military background, he always loved reading Tom Clancy's books and playing the Tom Clancy games. And then eventually, when we had our Xbox 360, he found Rainbow Six, Las Vegas, and we played 1 and we played 2, and they were kind of his games, so we had to wait for him to beat them first, and then we could play through them. Yeah. That's just how he was. And the thing I really enjoyed about Las Vegas 2, one sec, I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. Oh, damn it.
Psych.
Was Terrorist Hunt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed Terrorist Hunt, and I feel like we don't play enough in Rainbow Six Siege because it's so 6v5, 6v6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Game modes, and that's kind of the main thing. But there is terrorist mode, so I like that they're bringing a terrorist mode-esque type game.
Yeah.
But with aliens, or sorry, Archaons, because they're not aliens.
They're not aliens. I mean, I called them gooey aliens, but yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, I want gooey aliens, man. But no, I
And then
agree.
on top of that, they added all of our operators, like you said, and we're probably going to get more added on throughout the seasons.
Yeah, I'm so excited for it. I agree with you. You know, my very first Rainbow Six game was Las Vegas, the first one. And I loved that a lot. But my very first Tom Clancy was literally, you know, Splinter Cell, Pandora's Box, and all of them. I've played all of them except for Blacklist because I heard it was bad. And it had just been a while since I played one. So when it did finally come out, I was kind of like, meh. I know it sounds bad, but I've played all of them up to that. So yeah, no, I did enjoy the original, like, terrorist hunts on the other games. I think the reason I don't always go for it on Siege is, like you said, it's a very competitive, like, it's literally just a 6v6 everything game mode. So it's just kind of like, if I'm going to play it, I'd rather just go against a human, opponent. But
Yeah.
But in general, though, I do like games like, I do like the terrorist hunt ideology. Like, it's like Gears of War Horde mode. I used to love playing those types of things where it's just waves of enemies and things like that. So, no, I'm excited for Extraction. I like that, like you said, it's kind of it's a terrorist hunt at its core, but you're getting all of your favorite operators. You're getting cool, creepy, horror-esque looking monsters. So it's not just, oh, it's a human. It's new. It's exciting. I'm definitely amped for it.
For sure. And it's funny because that was the first game announced during all of E3. I mean, it was kind of announced beforehand.
Yeah.
But I tried to stay away from game announcements because I knew I was going to see a lot of repeats throughout E3.
Yeah.
So I saw that it was announced. I didn't look at it. I didn't know what it was or anything like that.
Same. Yeah, I had seen it was announced. That's why I said I didn't know much about it until I got to see this specific trailer.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. I'm excited. I plan on getting it eventually at some point in my life because I like good old terrorist hunt and I like the siege operators. So
yeah, I love the siege operators, and there's nothing, you can't go wrong with terrorist hunt. You can't go wrong with PvE with friends because not everyone is super competitive and not everyone in a friend group is going to want to deal with people who've been an opponent who's been playing a lot longer and they know all the best, hidey holes
Yeah.
and stuff. And to be fair, I would argue that Siege does AI opponents very well. Because if you go on their realistic modes, like, they can be pretty unforgiving. Like if the AI gets a headshot on you or something, you're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm dead, guys. So you do still have to really play smart, but it's still PvE, so I think people just don't get as tilted.
yeah, I think Tom Clancy's just like a great franchise of games and
It
books.
is. Definitely.
Like that's just one of those things that like they could make all of the books into games.
Mm-hmm.
And like they just made a movie, I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen it, but my mom said it was really good on Prime.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that either. I think Whale Bro watched it and said it was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was a show at first. I was like, oh fuck, a Tom Clancy show. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom's like, no, it's a movie, and I'm like, I'm a little less excited now. I'll watch it on my own time.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Rainbow Six Extraction, as soon as they announced it, I was like, I hope this isn't a year of apocalyptic themed games. And it was.
Yeah,
and
it
I was a
was.
little upset, but at the same time, they all look really good. So
Yeah, they all look good, so I can't really be too upset. I definitely have, over the last couple years, I've definitely been singing the tune of, we don't need as many. And then,
Yeah.
of course, E3 drops a bunch in our lap, and I was like, oh, these are all really good looking, so, oh well.
Yep.
I still stand by I want a fantasy zombie game. For anyone in the future who's a game developer listening to this, please, fantasy zombie. Come on. Like Skyrim, but the emphasis is zombies.
Yeah. Now, we've given at least Red what he wanted, okay? So we can move on now. Mm-hmm. Did you watch any of like the Verizon stuff?
No, I didn't see the Verizon stuff.
So this is good for this actually makes them look really good, and they partnered with someone for this, but essentially Verizon has this program that they're going to do where they're giving 5 girls, and I believe there's about 5 universities, scholarships of either $1,000 or $5,000, and they have to be within a gaming program because they're trying to solve the whole feminism problem with gaming.
Yeah. Oh, that's really neat. That's actually really cool. Any kind of scholarships for men and females, I think is always really awesome, especially for the gaming industry, because I do think we should try to give more people chances to get in there and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's really awesome.
I thought it was cool because they're trying to make women feel more welcomed in the community, and the girl that they had on actually even said, like, from my perspective, like, we're worried about turning on our mics and saying what's up and hi because we're not the gamers of 20 years ago. And I'm like, man, you guys are doing something absolutely brilliant, and you're making yourself look good, and now your sales are going to go through the roof. So
exactly. Yeah, I already have Verizon. I switched last year, or else that would definitely be a bonus of like, hey, I definitely should keep them in mind. No, that's awesome. It definitely is true. And yeah, I mean, not to be too political, because there's a lot that goes into why there might be declines on different minorities in different fields, but I definitely do think it's good to at least promote and just be welcoming to a lot of people. Because the thing is we're all gamers. We all love our video games, and the more people from the more backgrounds you get in there, the more new, unique experiences you're gonna get. I mean, that's just how it goes. If we all had just, bros making games, we'd only get NFL games.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean?
If we let the Chads do it, we would have only gotten NFL games.
If we only get Chads in there, like, what's gonna happen? But now, you promote the weeaboos, you get more Japanese RPGs,
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
I just wanted to mention that because I thought it was cool to see them actually doing something about that, because I know guys can be pigs, even online. So it's nice to see someone's hearing what the girls are trying to say.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. I'm not going to college for that, but I think that's super awesome.
Mm-hmm. And now we can talk about some of your Nintendo stuff. I want to start off by saying Nintendo kind of disappointed me here.
Really? Well, there was a couple things, but you say why, and then I'll kind of go off of that.
I expected, a lot of people I think expected Donkey Kong to be announced because it's their 40th year anniversary or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like they need to let Smash just die. Stop giving us new characters.
Yeah.
Because they spend 10 minutes announcing a new character when they could announce a new character in like 5 minutes and have an extra 5 minutes of new games and new titles announcement.
No, I agree.
And I don't know. I think they always disappoint me because I'm expecting a lot more than what they give. Mm-hmm. And they always spend too much time on one thing.
Yeah. Well, me being a fan of, even purely just from a nostalgia point, I think Nintendo only won it for me because of the sheer amount of things that I was excited for. But that being said, I will start with the cons. I'm not a blind fan here. I was a little disappointed Um, Mainly Donkey Kong. Yeah, 100%. There is a couple times, like, okay, so when they were announcing the Monkey Ball Banana Mania, don't get me, and that's why I put it on
Don't
there
get
to
me
talk
started.
about it. That's why I put it on there to remind me. At first I was like, Donkey Kong?
Yep.
But nope. And here's the thing, Donkey Kong Deep Freeze was so fun, and that game was so well received because they took something that we love and we want more of. And you know, all they had to do to please me, honestly, was just give me a port of Donkey Kong Country, or, you know, honestly, I would love Donkey Kong 64 remastered and prettied up the way I could play it, because I miss playing that. I love that. But I'm terrified if I play my 64 too much, it's gonna die. Like, where am I gonna get another one? But Country and Country 2, oh, so good. Those were such fun games. So even if they didn't give me something new, I just wanted them to show some love, and they really didn't. And so I was really sad about that.
Before we continue, you want to know who I think won E3 overall?
Who do you think?
Ubisoft.
Yeah, I was thinking you might say that. And I do kind of agree, because, like, all of their announcements were pretty much spot on for me. So yeah, I can definitely respect your opinion on that. And I would even say it's pretty close for me too, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The being able to see Breath of the Wild 2 gameplay finally was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Skyward Sword was coming out next month.
You didn't? Haven't I
No.
Haven't I gabbed about this? You must not have been.
I thought it was coming out in October.
No, it's
That's
next
normally
month.
when they release games, is October, November.
Oh, I want it so bad.
But before we talk about your Zeldas, there's a game that when I was watching it, mind you, all of my sound, I pretty much had the stream muted the whole time because I was in class. I think it's on your list.
Shin Megami Tensei?
Yeah. So
Shin Megami Tensei.
I was like, there has to be a lawsuit behind this unless it's an Atlas game, because I recognized the Pixie, I recognized Frost Jackman or whatever, and I was like, these are rip-offs. So I looked it up before we started today, and it is an Atlas game.
Yeah. No, it is.
So I'm like, that's good.
You're like going all undercover, like, I'm gonna expose you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
No, that was on my list. Also, just real quick, I was thinking you might like that because of well, I mean, it's I don't know. Do you like Persona 5?
I love Persona 5.
Okay, because Persona 5, mwah, amazing, beautiful as it is. But Shin Megami Tensei, you know, I've played, I want to say, like, the first two, and then I always wanted to play the other ones, but I have too many games I want to play, and I just never got around to it. But they're fun, and they always felt, the quirkiness always felt a bit like Persona 5. This is way out there, though. I put this down, and I'm actually uber excited. Again, this is another reason why Nintendo won for me. Because, like, I'm so excited for all of the games. But, like, this one looks amazing. I love that you're basically like, hey, yo, you want to join my party, monster? And then you fuse them together, and you make more monsters.
Yeah.
It looks so cool.
So, my thing with Persona 5, I haven't finished it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've lost my data twice. Thankfully, the first time I wasn't too far into it, so I just replayed up until that point, and I kept going. I probably had about 100 hours in the game on the final palace of the game, and I haven't touched it in a while, and I go back to finish the final palace, and my game data was removed. So I probably won't finish it at this point, because that just stings. It's the same with Dark Souls 3, but I've gone back and I've finished Dark Souls 3, except for one of the DLCs.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, you could always just watch a video so you're not missing anything, I suppose. But yeah, that does suck.
Yeah, so I don't know. I might get it. I definitely enjoyed Persona, but I don't know if I'd...
Well,
buy it at full price.
Had you ever played, and I know we have to go soon because we're like at an hour and 5 minutes, but had you ever played Danganronpa, the games?
I have 1 and 2, I believe, on my PlayStation.
Did you ever actually play them, or do you just have them?
They're not what I thought they were. I thought they'd be more enticing.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, and I totally get that, because at first, I haven't played any of them. I'll say that right up front. But I have, after finding some things out about the game, I want to go and play them. So I think I definitely want to grab that so I can stream the whole series. But when you were talking about Ace Attorney, I know it's a completely different game, but when you're talking about Ace Attorney and why you thought it was kind of cool, I kind of thought you might like Danganronpa just because it reminds me of Ace Attorney. Every time
They're
you have
very similar.
Every time you have to deduce who killed the the classmate, because they have that little section, you know. So I just, that's the only reason I wanted to bring it up, is I probably will get that just because I want to stream it. But that made me think of you, because you're like, oh yeah, Ace Attorney looks cool. And to me, I know they're not the same, but they have a similar feel for some of the sections of the game.
Danganronpa was comedic.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the game for the comedy behind it. I feel like maybe I just didn't like the mechanics, and it might also be the same reason why I don't enjoy Ace Attorney. But I mean, if Ace Attorney has good character development and good story and stuff, I'll probably enjoy it. It's just, I feel like Danganronpa is gonna be very repetitive, so I didn't feel the need to play more than one murder, if that makes sense.
No, I understand. Well, oh, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, let's finish off with both Zelda games, and then we can wrap up.
Okay. Yeah, so first off, I'll just mention Breath of the Wild 2 first, because that was a bit, we don't have as much information on that. That's shorter. But yeah, I was very, very happy that they did show gameplay and more information. That was going to be the one thing that I was going to legitimately be very upset with, is if they didn't show something. And the way they worded it, whatever they had shown right before, I thought that was the last thing, and I was like, oh, how dare you? And then they were like, one last thing, and I was like, okay, good. But yeah, so I don't know if you noticed, but Link freaking has Sheikah technology on his freaking arm. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice, but I did notice he can move through platforms.
Yeah, he phased through the freaking platform, and I was like, yeah, like, this is so cool. And like, it showed like the water, like anti-gravity, because like the water came up out of the puddle and all that jazz. But I'm just like, oh my god, does Link lose his arm? Or it could just be a glove, I'll give you that. It could be like an armor piece. But you know how he had his slate, his Sheikah tablet? Well, I didn't really pay attention because I was staring at his Full Metal Alchemist arm. So maybe he still has his slate. But, you know, what we've known all along is that we've seen him and Zelda, like, exploring a cave or some kind of type area like that. Well, at one point, you see her falling into, like, a chasm. So I'm wondering if that's kind of like the beginning area and something happens, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, he might lose his arm or something. But he literally, from his hand, like, halfway up his forearm, it looks like you know what the Guardians are made out of, basically, but just shaped like a human hand arm. So yeah, he has like Sheikah technology arm, and I'm just like, that's cool. I
didn't notice that. I'm gonna have to go back and look, because that does sound really cool.
Definitely look. And I kind of thought it was cool that they were, I don't think it was intentionally done this way, but you know, we're about to have Skyward Sword, which I'm so happy about. But they're now going up in the Breath of the Wild world. Like, you have these floating platforms, and I'm just like, oh, that kind of reminds me of Skyward Sword. Because
I actually have the same opinion. It reminded me a lot of Skyward Sword. They implemented a lot of Skyward Sword mechanics.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even the first Breath of the Wild, you know, his paraglider, that's a mechanic that was introduced in Skyward Sword. And even a lot of, so that's what I wanted to say about that. I want it. Just take my money now, give it to me. But I gotta wait till 22 something. But segueing to Skyward Sword, yes, Bobby, yes. I love Skyward Sword because it's literally the beginning of everything. It explains why Link, Ganon, and Zelda are so important, like the trifecta. That being said, even hardcore Zelda fans, like, some of them just really hate Skyward Sword because of the motion controls. Now, I'll say this, I never had an issue with them. I don't know if I was just lucky and I just naturally moved the way I was supposed to. I know lots of people were like, oh, it was so hard to do. I liked it. So that being said, I thought it was a really pretty game already for the Wii. I liked the art style they were going for. And I don't think a lot of people understand that if you love Breath of the Wild, you kind of have to at least pay respects to Skyward Sword because that's where a lot of the RPG elements come from. Like, you had crafting. You started to have that, like I said, you had the paraglider. Like, it introduced a lot of mechanics that just weren't in the series before then. So I'm hoping, because that was like the thing when they announced it, the very first thing they said was, you don't have to use motion controls, you can use. So I'm hoping since they're excluding that and you can just use a controller like normal, I'm hoping it'll bring older Zelda fans back into the fray to actually finish it if they haven't, because it is such an important game to the series. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. I know I'm going to be picking it up at some point in the future because I've never played it, and it always looked like one of those games that I wish I had for the Wii because it just looked like one of those games that I would have liked.
It was a great adventure game. Like I said, it was beautiful graphics. I know some people who are like anti-Nintendo were like, oh, they just did it that way to save because, not a very powerful system. It purposely kind of had like a painted feel to me, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that lends well to the new Breath of the Wild style that I really like so much too. I think it's gonna be great. I really do. It's a really good game, and I can gush on and on about Zelda timelines and why the story is integral, but I won't.
Yeah, I was more surprised because I thought it was going to be an October release originally. I'm surprised it's coming out this quarter.
Yeah, it's so soon. And that's the final thing I'll say too, is that the Game & Watch is cool and all, but I already own those games.
Yeah.
On a couple different things. I was really hoping and I was really, really wanting just a 3DS port of Ocarina Majora's Mask. I agree, Ocarina is a little overdone. For me, it's just that those two are tied together so closely because they're almost really, they just like lead right into each other. And the thing is I love Majora's Mask. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. So I was hoping, because they didn't really do much for the 35th year anniversary, that they would give that to us. Or a Wind Waker port, or a Twilight Princess port, simply because Wii U's are starting to die now, and they're getting expensive to replace.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would love to just have it on my Switch to just take it anywhere with me. So that was a disappointment, but I respect them doing the Game & Watch. That's cool. And it definitely is a good gift idea. Because those things are like, I think, $40 to $50. So they're not like a full game all the time, but
yeah.
I think it would be fun for like a Christmas gift to a hardcore Zelda fan, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think I'm just being needy. I mean, they are literally giving us Skyward Sword, so I'm just hoping next year they'll think about giving us another remaster that we could take on the Switch.
Yeah. Well, I know you have other plans for the night, so
I do.
I guess we will wrap it up here.
Yeah.
And we'll have to figure out a more baseline time of when to record going forward.
Yeah. I think, even if we do it like on Friday nights before everyone gets on, because there's always like an hour and a half before everyone's on typically. Mm-hmm. I'd be down with that. I think that sounds good.
Yeah, Friday or Saturday both work for me.
All right, cool.
And then I'll just grind it out on Sunday.
All right.
But yeah, thanks everybody for listening to the Meta Misfits podcast. Do we want to add the "the"? I've kind of dropped the "the" in some places and added it in others.
I guess if you want to make it uniform, you could probably just drop it. I think this Meta Misfits podcast sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Okay. Well, we appreciate everyone who's listened. You can catch this podcast on any streaming platform, including YouTube. There is no video format. It's just audio with a beautiful background by the one and only Bunnyshade.
Thank you.
But, I mean, it's there. If you don't want to pay for your other services, it's free. So you can check us out there. Meta Misfits podcast over on YouTube. And, yeah, you can find us on everything else. So
yeah, and thanks everyone for listening. This is a fun first podcast for us, and I'm looking forward to doing more with you.
For sure. I'm excited to keep doing this. I'm like, can I just record 3 more episodes with you? But we want to stay up to date with our stuff.
If you want to do one Friday, I'm fine with that. If you want to plan something to talk about.
No. We'll wait till next week. It's
okay.
Fine. Bye everyone.
Bye everyone. Thanks for listening. Okay. I'll hit stop.